Hi folks, my name is Mr. Kuchak and I am your art teacher. Before we begin, let me go over our class rules. We have 3 rules at Elk Lake. Be ready, be responsible, be respectful. We are ready in the art room when we come in, sit in our assigned seats, and get quiet so that we can learn about art. We are responsible in the art room when we follow directions and take care of our supplies, and we clean up any of our messes. We are respectful when we use kind words like please and thank you, and when we value other students' artwork. Supplies you will need for today's lesson. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. Hi folks, today we are going to be working on our second part of our art picture. This is the one that we're going to use with all the different art elements. So the picture that I'm talking about looks something like this, where you already started with your lines. We're going to go into the next box up here with our next part. And our next part is going to be based on the line, but it's going to be a line that touches, and those are shapes. We have 2 major types of shapes. We have geometric shapes, which are pretty much kind of made by people, and I like to say that we find them in a math book. And then we have organic shapes. Organic shapes are shapes found in nature. So using those lines that we did last time, if we have a line that touches, that means it goes out and comes back around or does something to be a complete shape, then it's different than a line. A line, remember, has a starting point and an ending point. Move the camera so that you can see my paper. I will continue talking and you can just follow along. All right folks, so this is going to be the section that we use for our shapes. Please stay within this box. Yes, it comes down a little bit, so you're going to go to where at least it all fits in. Before we get started drawing in our art picture, I just wanted to go over what a shape is. Remember, we have those major lines. So a line has a starting point and an ending point. So we have a straight line, we have a curved line, we have our zigzag line, and then we have that slippery line. Using these lines, then we are going to come up with all of our shapes. So our geometric shapes, these are the ones found in math class. A lot of straight lines except for the circles. Let's go over a few of those. So if we take our straight line and we make them all the same size when they come through, notice there's no open spot. Then we have our square. We can also make 2 sides longer, make sure it's filled in all the way, and then that way we have our rectangle. We can also cut the top off and make other shapes. If we take our curved line and we curve all the way around, we have our circle. If we curve all the way around and then take another curve inside, we kind of have a crescent shape. If we take our zigzag and we go up, down, back, we have our triangle. If we go up, down, back with a V, we have a diamond. And if we do 2 lines with an X, we kind of have 2 lines touching, or 2 triangles touching, and we call that an hourglass shape. The last shape that we have here, this kind of wiggly shape, we say that's an organic shape. That's a shape that's pretty much found in nature. It occurs naturally in the world around us. It's often irregular, so sometimes it's not as precise as these. It's organic. So let's take that slippery line, and if we use all S's, we can kind of have almost like a SpongeBob flower. Or if we take that, we can make it look like it's something that we would find in a pond in science class if we were looking at things. We can take this and, make something that looks like a pond inside there, or almost like a bunny rabbit with some ears or something like that. So there's a lot that you can do with your organic shapes. So once again, organic shapes, shapes found in nature. Is a banana an organic shape? Yes. Is it also kind of a crescent shape? Yes. So it's like one of those that can kind of go either way. What about a star? We find that in nature. Yes, we can use that, and it's also kind of pointy, so it might be a geometric shape too. We might have things like maybe a leaf that would be an organic shape. So these are all different shapes that we're going to be able to use in our picture. With your picture, I would like you to use at least, let's say at least 5 geometric shapes and at least 2 or 3 organic shapes, so that we can kind of come up with a good picture inside there. So let me switch papers, I'll get back to my art paper, and I'll show you what we're gonna do. So within this space, we need to be able to draw our shapes. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with just maybe a circle. And maybe I'll add another circle and another circle. Then I might add, say, a crescent over here. So then it's starting to look like it's sun and moon. And so then to really make this the sun, I'm going to take and I'm going to add some triangles around the outside. So right now I have 1, 2, 3 different geometric shapes. Maybe up on top I will take and I'll kind of do some cloud shapes, which are an organic shape. So there I have a couple organic shapes already. Maybe I'll take and I'll do some stars, and that will count for whatever one I kind of need to fill in inside there. Maybe inside here I will do some diamond shapes. And then, just to make a pattern, I'm going to add some more diamonds in here. I'll add those in there. And then maybe do some rectangles that kind of look like buildings in the background here. Then I can use squares. Now with our composition, with our picture here, we want to make sure that we have pretty much the spaces filled up where there's some stuff going inside there. So I'm going to have this stuff kind of touch to the side so that it makes more of a pattern with the shapes, almost like a brick pattern inside there. I don't want to try to make it look 3D. These shapes that we're doing, these are all going to be 2D or kind of flat shapes. So don't worry about trying to make them look three-dimensional. Right now we just want nice kind of flat shapes inside there. And so then maybe if I do some hills behind all of this, then I will have enough organic shapes, and that kind of almost runs right into that line, which we'll see how that works. Once that's done, what I would do is I would go ahead and Sharpie it. So take your Sharpie if you like the way that it looks. Don't worry about Sharpieing the word or the letter just yet. We're going to do that last, once everything's in. That way we know exactly where that goes. So go over your lines. Remember, when you're Sharpieing, if you can remember to lift the Sharpie up when you're done with something. This way you won't bleed into the paper, and it will leave you a nice kind of crisp line when you're drawing. You can see some of these are getting really small. I should have switched Sharpies. So if you have some small details, you might want to use your smaller Sharpie. I'm going to say some of those people aren't home, and that's why they're kind of, the windows are going to be dark. We have that come all the way across. Blend right in. I'm going to go ahead and do my moon shape. There we go. Clean that up a little bit. And then we'll get our stars. And then I need my clouds. And then right here, I'm going to make that, I'm going to go over that line back there so that I know exactly where I have a line and shape. So go ahead and work on your picture in there. Remember, make sure you Sharpie over everything. Do a double check. Have somebody take a look at what you've done to see if you forgot anything. That big sun right there in the middle, I thought I was all done. And I looked again and I realized I was missing something. So if you feel like things are missing when you're inside there, you can also divide it up a little bit more, give it a couple more shapes inside there. So that looks pretty good. My last step that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my eraser and I'm going to clean up my picture. Here we go. So I'm going to just go over my Sharpie. I've given it enough time to let it dry so that it doesn't smear or it doesn't go all over my eraser. And remember, this is the craftsmanship part of it. You want to go through and clean up any mistakes, make it look nice and neat, that it looks like you really took your time and you got a lot done with it. So take your time, get that cleaned up. If you missed a spot, once again, go over it with your eraser. These erasers work really, really good. Sometimes you have to go back and forth and up and down just to clean it up a little bit. There we go. So any stray marks that you see, go over them, look really close in the clouds. If you can see that pencil, clean it up so that next time, or actually when we get to color, that you can kind of come up with a pattern and stuff for there. But if it's nice and clean and it's crisp, it's a whole lot easier to color in. So once you get yours done, remember, take a picture of it, upload it to the Google Slides so that I can take a look at it. And thank you very much. Have a great night.